How's everyone this week? You are up front with Frank Rothstein on the City World Radio Network, also broadcasting live on Sky's Crescent Radio, which broadcasts through iHeart. I'm sorry, where the hell are we now? iHeart Radio, iTunes. We are on Google Play. We are on YouTube. We are everywhere. Jade has set up her Sky's Crescent Radio where it reaches far and wide, which means I am sitting here, as always, with a woman who's here, there, and everywhere, so beware of Jade Zabrick. How is everybody's week this week? I'm sitting here it's a little bit warm in here. You know, the weather's starting to change, and it's a little bit warm. And that means it's reflecting because I'm sweating tonight. Also, I'm broadcasting live on LiveMe, saying hello to all my friends on my followers list, including the 9 robots named Honey. And I got a tablet to work again. I got life in an old tablet. Wow! Means I don't have to buy a new one. Just have to go home and fine-tune a little bit. Everything else is going pretty good. The leg, if anyone was following me on social media, is healed. And what else is going on? Well, the biggest story of the week to me is not the president. Let me say that again, is not the president. What is the biggest story to me is the Kentucky Derby. Did anybody watch the Kentucky Derby? Not a bad race, not anything special about it, but not a bad race, except the end. For the first time in 145 years, the race has ended by disqualification. The winner was disqualified. And here's what happened. Coming down the stretch, the pack is tightening, and wait, here it is. Which one is it? Wait, it's not even on the list over here. Let me read this. Damn, I'm just off today. Here we are. I'll tell you. Maximum Security led the Kentucky Derby every step of the way. This is true. Now, coming down the stretch, Maximum Security was sort of on the rail, next to the rail, coming down the stretch. And pretty much going smoothly, looking like it was going to win. But up through the pack, coming through traffic was, where is it? War of Will. Yeah, it's one of those weeks. I can't see a thing. These lights, my eyes are just blurred all over the place. Sorry. War of Will is coming through the pack. What happens? Maximum Security drifts to the right into the center of the pack, clicks his back heels to War of Will's front hoofs, and War of Will goes to the right a little bit, bumping into 2 horses. One horse, next, like a chain reaction. Okay, that sort of interferes with the horse that eventually came in second, Country House. The trainer of Country House sees what's going on. He lodges a complaint. So you have what's called a Stewart's Inquiry. I can't even talk today. Stewart's Inquiry. 20 minutes later, the big thing happens. They disqualify Maximum Security. He's out of the race, not even listed. That's what I'm looking for. He's not even listed. He bumped. He's in a lane coming down the stretch. You're not allowed to interfere with other horses. Well, it's not like in a swimming pool. It's not like assigned lanes, but it's sort of the horse is not allowed to interfere with the others. You can't bump a horse. It's just not allowed to. No one says the jockey could not see what's going on behind him. It's not like he took a whip and whipped the other horse or drove it into another. It wasn't happening that way. So anyway, they wind up taking out Maximum Security, and Country House wins. This is a big thing, and why? Because, well, the horse that looked like it was going to win would have paid $10 to win. That's nice, except for one thing. When this fell out, everything changed, because the winning horse was running at roughly 60 to 1, and it paid $132.40 to win. Avon's calling. Somebody forgot something, and that's what we're hearing. Hold on one second. Maybe someone's sending in pizza or cake. And I won't consider... What? What did we lose? What? The world is my prop. And that's Pat grabbing like a poolside umbrella. Oh, yeah. So where was I? Yes, now the winning horse now has paid $132.40. The place horse, Code of Honor, pays $15.20, and Tacitus pays $5.60 to show. That's nice. But everything has changed because the $2 exacta has paid $3,009.60. The trifecta, the $1 trifecta, has paid $11,475.30. And if you were a genius enough to figure out the superfecta, wow, it paid $51,400.10. So most people put down at least $2. $100,000 if you could figure out the first four horses in this combination. And this is all because one horse, without realizing it, bumped or interfered with another horse. That's a big shift because everybody who thought they had a win, gone. And everyone else kicked in. Huge. Well, Country House is not running in the second leg of the Triple Crown, the Preakness, in a couple of weeks. After going through an examination, after running in the bad weather, they figure that the horse is having a cough. They figure he sounds like he's going to get sick. So this year, there will be no Triple Crown winner because this horse is out. And that's the first story. Yes, I do have music here. I have some very nice music. No, I am not singing. Jade can sing if she wants. Jade, you want to sing my songs? I offered. Okay. It is 9:08. And if anybody here wants to talk about any of these stories, believe it or not, we do have telephones here. So feel free to give me a call, 646-690-2976. 646-690-2976. And if you'd like to email me at any given time to tell me whatever it is you want to tell me, it's upfrontfrank@gmail.com. upfrontfrank@gmail.com. And that's what's going on. So, yeah, I do have some music, and maybe I'll play one now. Is that song one? That's good. There's a kid I knew from my neighborhood when she was a kid. I mean, a little kid. And her name is Ona Czar. And that's what we used to call her, Little Ona Czar. Little Ona Czar is about 6 feet now. And she's living in Germany. And she's very creative, very talented, and all that. She is a complete talented package. So now in Germany, she has her musical partnered up with some people in Sanzara Music on YouTube. And it's a beginning thing, and they're on the song Dragana. So with Dragana, this is Ona Czar.
I keep on spinning round, wandering through our minds, trying to find the answers. Oh, but the illusions can't tell head from heart. What's all real and what's projection?
Like howling wolves, we praise the moon. 10 leagues of wounds. The silence is screaming your name.
Deep inside your misty eyes.
Okay, that was Onazar. That was Sanzara Music, and that was Dragana. Okay, let's get to all these odd end stupid stories and some of the more serious ones that you don't ordinarily see on the headlines, which is why it's important to talk about them. We all know what the president does. We all know what goes on in Congress. We all know about that. We know more about that than the weather reports, which happens more frequently. However, Apple and Google are removing dating apps. And that's from the Federal Trade Commission, says it exposes children to predators. And I got this one from CNN. And this says they've removed 3 dating apps from their app stores after the U.S. government said the apps could expose children to sexual predators, as could any social media app. Let's keep that in perspective. The Federal Trade Commission said in the statement Monday the dating apps Meet24, Fast Meet, and Meet For You were potential violations of Children's Online Privacy Protection Act. That's pretty good. COPPA, or as known as COPPA, from collecting personal information for children under 13 without parental consent. All right, so pretty much that's what's going on. The 3 apps are owned by a Ukraine-based company called Wiley LLC. The Federal Trade said the company allowed minors 13 years old and younger to be contacted by other users contradicting the app's privacy policies. Now, I am sitting here at this very moment broadcasting on a live app called LiveMe, social media. I am also on a couple of others. Now, I talk to some people I know. Each one of them require you to be at least 17 or is it 18 to have your own account, to be able to broadcast on your own. They do not allow children to do it unattended. That means their parents, if you don't see them on screen, which usually you don't, you want to embarrass the kid, they are either watching it on their own phone or they are sitting somewhere in view of the screen so they know what's going on. And that is very wise because of what I just read here. And kids do fall into a trap every now and then. So we don't want that to happen. I think that's very important. It's 9:16. Feel free to call 646-690-2976. One of the things you've heard me talk about over and over, it's election season. We know what that means, besides having to buy a new wardrobe for the day I finally vote. I always talk about not so much what the candidates running for office are doing, not the presidential candidates. I always talk about, or at least I always focus on, what the other politicians around the country are doing. And because it is election season, there's always that one common topic that they love to go after. And as you've heard me say before, I will never tell you my personal feelings on this subject. I will just tell you what's going on and how I feel about it from a practical position, put it that way, opinion. So let's start with a few of these things here. Okay, here we go. This came out today. Georgia governor signs a controversial abortion bill into law. Every time we go into a presidential election season, all you hear about in many of the southern states is abortion. I don't know if they're looking for cheap votes or what the deal really is, but somehow electing someone to office is done by telling women what to do with their bodies. That's just, I don't know how this works out, but all you ever hear about is this. And this is currently in Georgia. Women are allowed to undergo abortion procedures that up to their 20th week of pregnancy. Starting on January 1st, the bill Kemp signed, the governor of Georgia, Brian Kemp, generally would ban abortions after fetal heartbeat is detected, which can be as early as 6 weeks into pregnancy, when many women don't know they're pregnant. Okay, one. This goes back to, May 1st. Okay, a few days ago. Alabama abortion doctors could face up to 99 years in jail in newly approved state abortion ban. I'm getting this from CBS News. Alabama's House of Representatives overwhelmingly approved a near total abortion ban, a piece of legislation that the bill's sponsors call direct attack on Roe versus Wade. Okay. Alrighty then. One of the most common things about all these laws when you hop from state to state reading them is there is rarely a provision for rape or incest, and that's what I'm reading in a couple of these. There's nothing for rape or incest, which means something terrible happens to you in those states, you are sort of, I hate to say it, but stuck. You're in a position. Watch the doctors who don't want to go to jail refuse treatment. And then what I've said before, not that I believe that it only happens in the countrysides where you'll find an abandoned wooden shack where someone will do procedures for a little pocket money. You will find it in the major cities also, because there are people who have bad things happen to them, who realize they may not be able to go through with it, who were made a few bad decisions while after a party or whatever happened that got someone pregnant. The decision, however they wound up becoming pregnant, whatever the process of the day that happened, if there is no outlet, if there's no place to go to get this done in a healthy, correct manner, they will seek alternatives. And you will see other health problems come up, and you will see it's what it is. And I've talked about this many times already, because this is what happens during election season, and as they call them, red states. And that I do not like. I'm watching this for I won't say years, I will say decades, because presidents are once every 4 years, so that doesn't take a lot of presidents. And usually this is the case. They don't always go through in every state, but they're getting a little more narrow-minded, for lack of a kinder term, or for too much of a kind term, to not include certain provisions in case of disaster. Let's see what's going on here, which is also why I printed up from Associated Press that some states seek to close loopholes on marital rape laws. This is good news, actually. Witches were still being, this is how it starts, believe it or not, from Columbus, Ohio. Witches were still being burned at the stake when Sir Matthew Hale came up with the legal theory that rape could not happen within marriage. The 17th century English jurist declared it legally impossible because wedding vows implied a wife ongoing consent to sex. All right. Well, in Ohio, they signed a law banning this because it was still on the books. Well, okay, and that's what happened. 3.5 centuries later, vestiges of the so-called marital rape exemption or spousal defense still exist in most states. Remnants of the English common law that helped inform American legal traditions. Legislative attempts to end or modify those exemptions have a mixed record, but have received renewed attention in the Me Too era. You believe this? All right. What's the safest way for me to put this? What two people do behind closed doors consensually is their business. What two people do, if someone has an idea, no matter what it is, and the other one says, okay, let's give it a try, is their business. However, if you're, and I'm going to stay with this being the woman having it happen, because the odds are the men will never report it and you won't hear about it as often. So just because, let's say, your wife, your girlfriend, is having a cold and takes too much Benadryl, makes a mistake and mixes a little medication, or whatever happens, or they're outright drunk and pass out, does not mean the guy has a right to go to town. Sorry if you're a little disappointed, guys. However, sometimes your evening just doesn't pan out. This does not mean you can sit there and take your wife to bed, carry her wherever, and just do what you got to do. And I'm glad they're signing this law to get rid of this practice, because there are a lot of old laws from who the hell knows when ago that are still on the books. And it is important to go through them and weed out some of the bad ones and get rid of it whenever possible. And that's just what I got to say about that, because I actually printed out. Well, this is from the other story. Wow, I was reading the regulations for abortion by state. There's a lot of things out there. Wow, it's 9:25. Yeah, it's an odd world out there. I'm going to read one other story before I go to. Let's see, what's this? That's a redundant piece of paper I printed out twice. I'm killing a tree for no reason. Yeah, it's just... Okay, here we go. One story I mentioned a couple of months ago. Bowling Green State University trustees vote to drop Gish from the theater named because of a racist film. So I mentioned before the late actresses Dorothy and Lillian Gish. This theater was named after them at Bowling Green State University. It was a nice tribute. Now, in the search for racism era, not worry about what's in front of you today and try to help things along. Let's go back 100 years. In 1915, that's how long ago I'm going back, 1915, the then actress, the late actress, Lillian Gish, was 22 years old. So the kid that she was got an acting job in a movie, in a big production coming up, and she played a nurse in the Civil War in scenes that had nothing, zero to do with racism. She was a nurse in the Civil War, a kid in a movie. She got an acting job. Let's just be clear about it. And all these years later, someone forget 2 and 2, someone put 3 and 1 together and figured she's a racist. She was in a racist film. At the time, was not, I don't know if it was viewed as racist or not. But anyway, they've taken down her name off the theater because, as I've said before, you cannot erase history. Today is Tuesday. I broadcast every Tuesday. I promise you, if I check my calendar, yesterday was Monday. It was set up during the Civil War, a little before and through the Civil War, and then during the Reconstruction of the South, and in the building of the Ku Klux Klan, and anything else that went along at that time. And at that time, black was still slaves and everything else. So all the things of racism that people talk about the past, they attributed to her, or they sort of linked her to a belief that... That's true. But as we it was just, it covered time. So it went through the Civil War. It went a little from before the Civil War. No, there are a lot of people in this movie. Everyone knows Lillian Gish. Well, you wouldn't. I know you're not. But she lived to about 102. She was a million different silent. She had a huge career. She wound up becoming a very big, huge movie star in her time and throughout her time, not just in the silent film era. All through, she was just a great actress. But as things happen now, people search. You've heard me talk about this. People search, and for reasons to dig up racism. Now, the movie itself, D.W. Griffith was the director was thought to be a racist. The movie itself was gigantic. It was one incredible production. And this wasn't at a time where you had like computer technology now. If you needed 10,000 soldiers, you had to find 10,000 actors and 10,000 horses, just the way it went. So this is what happens when you try to erase history.
So no, she was the most famous person in the movie.
She became the most famous person after. At this moment, I couldn't tell you. I can tell you D.W. Griffith was the director. I am sure there are a lot of stars of the day who maybe never went as far, because once film and left silent film and went to what they call talkies, not everyone had it. Well, that's what it was called. Not everybody had a voice, a speaking voice. one of the better movies in history, Singing in the Rain, addresses that. That's the whole movie about the leading lady in the movie, or the leading star of silent film, when she was talking, so she had nothing to say. All of a sudden, had a voice like this, and she couldn't talk, and it didn't work in talking pictures. This happened to a lot of actors and actresses at the time. They couldn't make the transition. There was nowhere for them to go. They had beautiful faces. They were good-looking guys, but it wasn't the same. Lillian Gish was cute. She was attractive, but she was actually an excellent actress as time went on. And she was in some great movies up and through the 60s, 1960s. And it was easy to target her because people knew her. That's all it was. When you want, well, who the hell is in this movie? And this is the movie. It's a racist movie. Lillian Gish. If I'm in film school, yeah, I know who she is. She's made a million good movies. She was in this movie.
Yeah, but there's like racist movies made now.
Of course there are. Look, I was talking
what about Leonardo DiCaprio's character in Django Reinhardt?
Django Reinhardt.
I mean, not Django Unchained. Sorry. I don't know why. Yeah, but you know what I meant. He was horrible, but he was playing a character.
He was playing a character, right. She was just a nurse. Anyone could have played her role. At that time, she's a 22-year-old kid.
Was she a racist nurse?
She was a nurse in the army. Everyone was hurt.
I just don't understand. Like you haven't said anything like what. I haven't seen anything about racism in this movie at all. Like what you've said so far, it's
telling us. It's telling a story. It's
Was she treating black slaves bad in
I
this
haven't
movie? But even
seen
if she
this
was, like,
movie. I cannot begin. I promise you.
So who's complaining? The
students at the school. People looked it up, and I'll read again. Oh wow, this is some small font. Bowling Green State University trustees. Okay, I got that. For more than 40 years, the theater had honored Dorothy and Lillian Gish. Okay, members of the college's Black Student Union questioned the theater's name because Lillian Gish is particularly well known for starring in Birth of a Nation. This is a movie.
Oh, that movie. That whole movie should be. Yeah, that was horrible.
The whole.
I didn't know it was that movie. You didn't say.
Birth of a Nation.
That.
Yeah, Birth of a Nation. Yeah, and the movie itself, again, giant production. It was well shot. D.W. Griffith was actually a very good director. But at the time, she was a 22-year-old. Like a lot of other actors, they took a job. They don't know what this is my script. This is what I got to do. I got to stand here. It's silent film. There is no dialogue. I have to stand here and look concerned and put a cold compress on someone's head. And it's mostly pantomime, so I got to make a worried face. So they picked out this actress being the most famous over time that emerged from this film. And her sister, Dorothy Gish, also had a good career. So they took the Gish name off the theater. This does not mean that Lillian Gish was not still in this movie, that no one's ever going to see this movie again, which is why I keep saying you cannot wipe away history. It just doesn't happen that way.
I feel like with that movie, I feel like you can't take it away, because if you take it away, then only the racists are going to watch it. And then other people aren't going to know about it.
You could find it somewhere. I mean,
but I mean, like if you take it away, then the only people that are actually going, I feel like sometimes you have to like teach those things in school to let everybody know that this does happen. You have to be aware.
You have to be aware of the past. Yes, you have to. Every Passover, the Ten Commandments is on. You see Charlton Heston coming down that mountain with the tablets, and it's on. I don't hear anyone yelling it's anti-Semitic because the story calls for the Egyptians to enslave the Jews. This is part of the story. It's part of history. Even if I didn't want to, it's part of history. Right about now, downtown Manhattan is the Auschwitz exhibition, the exhibition on the concentration camp. It's not meant to be wiped away. It's meant to be.
Well, no. That's different, though. That would be the same thing as like a memorial to actual slavery. This would be parallel to like a Nazi movie, not the Jewish side.
The
Nazi
Ten Commandments
side.
is not a documentary. The Ten Commandments is a movie. It's a large scale movie. It was made in the silent version originally. It's a large scale movie. It's a very good movie. But the fact of the matter is that Jews were enslaved 5,800 years ago by the Egyptians. There were pharaohs. No, they didn't look like Yul Brynner, but what do I know? And this is the way it is. It's part of the story. You can't just wipe that away because you don't take away Yul Brynner's whole career of achievement because he played Pharaoh. It's essentially what people are saying. He had a part in a movie, and we should wipe away everything that Yul Brynner did. We should wipe his name off of anything that has his name. We should just get rid of him. He was in the Ten Commandments. And that sounds crazy to me.
Well, yeah, I feel like if they're going to do that, then you should just wipe away everybody that was a part of the movie in all of them.
In all of them, yeah.
Yeah, all of them. But
let's just wipe out history and start
I
today.
feel like there's part of this missing. She must have been a racist in real life or something.
Why?
For them to go this hard on it. There must be something else that I'm missing. Like,
It's
why
been-
are they singling out her and
this
not everybody else?
She out of that film, as time went on, she became a major star of film, a major actress.
And how was she in real life? Was she?
I don't know how she was in real life. I never heard a word about her. I never heard a word about her being anything but an actress until this story broke the first time I read it out here. And what I think happened was, I'm not saying you didn't have racists in movies. I'm saying in this particular case, because the name because someone figured out that, or someone knew that she was in this film, and everyone knows what this film is, that everyone knew that for years. D.W. Griffith, as good a director as he was racist. We all knew it. So somehow this became, we don't want Lillian Gish. And again,
They also probably didn't want the director either, but they don't have anything to do about. They can't.
That's
do
right.
anything about that.
It's not the Griffith Theater.
Yeah.
So that I could sooner see than taking it out on a 22-year-old kid who got an acting job, and that's pretty much what happened. It doesn't mean she was around directing the other scenes as well. So that is what happened, and I was talking about that a while ago. And it's that type of world now. Everybody's got something they're upset about. And everyone's looking for something and somewhere to blame. I, on the other hand, say let's start today. Let's start today. Yeah, there have been all kinds of problems of not just race, of whatever else. Let's start today. Because I can't fix what happened 104 years ago. I want to, but I can't. People are, unfortunately, products of their time. So if I grew up in 1920, 1930, 1940, or I was in the South, pretty much you know what I'm going to be thinking. It still happens today, but it was even bigger. I'll say even bigger then, because there was there was a different world. But somehow, there's something wrong, at least to me, with that particular story. In other places, worry about it then. But I'm still thinking, let's fix it today. That's just how I
Well, I
see
don't know.
it.
I mean, it's just the name of a theater.
It's just the name of a theater.
No,
Now,
but I mean, it's just the name of the theater. It can be renamed. Like
so far they haven't renamed it because they haven't got a name for it yet. They'll rename the theater. They're not ripping the building down.
Yeah.
But they don't want.
They'll have to come up with a good name.
They'll come up with a good name, but they
I
don't.
hope it's not just somebody else that buys it or something.
Now, I don't know that any of these students ever watched another Lillian Gish. I don't know if they even heard about her until they
this,
started
yeah.
checking the credit. I really don't know how this worked out, how this started, but I probably read it before, but I didn't bother memorizing it. Somehow, again, you cannot wipe away history.
Well, I think that this doesn't wipe it away, but it could help them not be traumatized when they see it. Like just because
you're still going to see it.
Why not? If it goes away, not if they rename it.
The theater. You can rename the theater.
Yeah, and then it becomes something else, and then it can go, and then the story continues. It changes. I don't think that's wiping it away.
It's not a. All I know is it's not a rated G world.
Well,
That's
no.
just what it is.
Of course
It's not a rated G world. There are some ugly things that happened in the past. You go to a movie now, you're going to see some ugly things, and people like Leonardo DiCaprio, who's in Django Unchained, There are certain roles that call for certain things in certain movies. But in the end, at that time, in that movie, of course, so you're saying the role he
'Cause
had.
he's the villain.
He's
In
the
this
villain.
movie, you're saying they were the victors. So
They,
it's like,
no, I'm saying she was a nurse in the Civil War. She was a Union nurse, but she was a nurse in the Civil War. In the movie,
she's a union nurse.
well, she was.
So she wasn't even a nurse from the South.
She was a nurse. She was just a nurse in the army. She was in the army. She was a nurse.
I have seen this movie. She probably this was still a silent film.
Silent
Yeah.
film. And she had like
Then I
segments
feel like there's
because
something else. There's
well,
something else that I'm missing.
you had segments of history. Then you got to the Civil War. Then you got out of the Civil War. Then you had people in the hot summer. You know, I could never understand. It's like boiling hot, and they're all in the head. There's no air conditioning. They're all wearing these ties and these collars, and I don't know how people aren't boiling. But okay. Then you went on to next set of events and whatever, and then the movie ended, and that was it. It was a long movie, but it ended. It's not even a bad movie. I mean, you watch it; it's just a historical movie, and it was sort of filmed along the lines, or at least another movie was sort of filmed in the same fashion called Greed, over time, and there was different segments of different things, and then they focused on, it's a long movie. So this, well, it won't be the last time. Like I said, I was talking about Laura Ingalls Wilder, and they took her name off of the inaugural Laura Ingalls Wilder Award.
You notice how all this is happening to the women, right?
I notice it happens to the women a lot.
Yeah. What about the racist men? Like, why are we
There's
we're, like
no-
catching
they
the men,
called
we're
out-
catching the women?
No, they talked about John Wayne also. John Wayne,
Oh yeah.
he did an interview.
I've been thinking about that since as soon as this whole thing started coming. I was like, John Wayne.
John Wayne, but again, John Wayne, another guy, product of someone who grew up at this time. This is what he learned like a kid at the kitchen table. I don't know that walking down the block, John Wayne was cursing or saying whatever to other people, but John Wayne grew up in the 1920s, and that's different world. To me, at least to me, there is a difference between being a cruel racist and growing up in a time period where this is how everyone around you thought. It's unfortunate. I know it sounds odd the way I'm saying
it does help everybody else learn if we take the top
does.
people down.
It does. But should we take away every John Wayne movie?
I don't care. I have.
I know you don't. But can you imagine that?
I feel like a lot of people would care. Yeah.
John Wayne gave an interview where he said, and he didn't use any cruel wording. He didn't say anything. What he was pretty much should well, that time should black people have careers? Well, I'm all for it as long as they're educated and as long as it was something along those lines. I have
What
to
do you
read the
mean?
interview.
As long as they're educated. Is he educated?
John Wayne wasn't stupid.
Yeah, but what did he go to college?
I have
what is
no
educated?
idea.
What does that
I
mean?
have no
as long
idea
as
what
they
it-
graduated high school.
I guess
What?
he didn't want people who just couldn't.
Some people don't have the same resources as other
That's
people.
something like that.
That's
yeah,
horrible to say.
of course it is. But he did it. He did it
Some
with
of the most successful people.
he did
are
it
not
with
educated.
the John Wayne smile. What can I say?
Yeah.
But anyway, so in the case where I started off, somehow trying to wipe out history through film or even through literature or anything else doesn't see, at least for me, I don't get it. I don't see where it's going to go with that. What the sense, the purpose. Okay, they got her name. They got the name of a woman who died 30 years ago off of. Was it 30 years ago? Or was it 40 years ago? They got the name of a woman who died off a building. Now what? How much?
No, I mean, if she died, honestly, if she died that long ago, it's probably
No,
time for a
she was
change
like
anyways.
Yeah.
It's probably time for a change anyways, because then nobody's going to know who she is, and the only way they're going to know is when they see the name, they look it up, they're going to find this, and then they're going to get mad. So I kind of see it. I do see it, because what's the point? You're not going to know who she is, and then you're going to look it up, and you're going to be like, oh, well. And I see how the chain of events happen and why they want to take it down now. She's not even irrelevant anymore. Let's give somebody else the name
In
of the
terms
theater.
of film, Lillian Gish is relevant. Her movies still appear. May not be appearing in big theaters, but people know who she is. Actors know who she is.
But to these people at this school,
They just went and found an easy target. Everyone knew about D.W. Griffith. Everyone knew the movie, and they took someone who emerged with a great career and said, "All right, her."
Yeah. Well, I mean, if she emerged from this,
She became a great actress. She was able to leave silent film. She had a speaking voice. She could do theater. She could do a lot of things, and it worked well. She did. I've seen some of her movies. I don't know about a lot of them. She was good. She was an excellent actress.
maybe they'll find somebody with.
We'll find someone new next week
Yeah.
and punish somebody else. Yes.
No, I mean a new deserving name. Someone who actually made movies about civil rights, or someone who actually had something to do with more.
We'll call it the Smith Theater because there's some good guys named Smith also. We'll just figure out something neutral because whatever. Well, what else is going on in the world? Here, this is another one that makes no sense to me. I got this one from Associated Press. Look, I'm all music light tonight. Look at me. I may save this list for next week. Look at this. Well, yeah. So a lawsuit was filed over a display of a Bible at a veterans hospital. Concord, New Hampshire. There you go. I love the Associated Press. A Bible on a display at a memorial in a New Hampshire veterans hospital should be removed because it's in violation of the First Amendment, and that is from a United States Air Force veteran, said in the federal lawsuit on Tuesday. Wait, I'm getting the picture so I can describe it. There it is. What I'm seeing in this picture is a simple table, a place setting, a rose, an American flag, and under a locked showcase, a closed Bible.
Yeah,
Okay.
They do this. They do this at events. They always leave in big military events. They always have a table there with one chair. It's for the fallen soldiers. But I too agree that there's no Bible on it. Usually.
There's nothing. Well,
They're putting.
okay. The Bible was carried by a prisoner of war in World War II and became part of the missing man table honoring missing veteran. Okay, of the missing man table honoring missing veterans.
Action.
Oh man, I'm really bad today. I'm sorry.
It's for the
And
POW.
and POW at the entranceway of the Manchester VA Medical Center. Okay, this went to court. The lawsuit filed in Concord by James Chamberlain against the center's director, Alfred Montoya, says the Bible inclusion is in violation of the Constitution. The First Amendment stipulates that the government may not establish any religion, nor can the government give favoritism to one religious belief at the expense of others. Okay. Chamberlain, a devout Christian, said the lawsuit, the table should be a memorial to all who have served, regardless of their beliefs. Fair enough. Let's see. And that is the medical center initially removed the Bible in January, and another group, the Military Religious Freedom Foundation, objected, saying it got complaints from 14 patients who felt it violated the First Amendment, and a variety of religions were represented among the 14. But the Bible reappeared on the table in February. It had been removed out of the abundance of caution. Kurt Kasher, a Department of Veterans Affairs spokesman, said in an emailed statement Tuesday. Afterwards, the medical center received an outpouring of complaints from veterans. All right, there you go. They consulted lawyers, and the lawyers said, put it back. There's nothing illegal about it. One thing about this Bible here that I'm seeing is it doesn't state which religion it is. At least I cannot see it. I see the word Bible. I do not see.
What other religion has the word Bible?
There are Jewish Bibles?
Wait, does Bible just mean a book or something?
Well, in this case,
The word Bible. What is? I thought it was
It's
a Christian thing. It's not. I didn't know that.
There's
Does
a
it
Jewish
just mean
Bible.
book?
it's a book.
It just means
it's the
book?
book. It's
Oh.
the Bible of Ring Magazine is the Bible of boxing. That's been its catchphrase. This has no. It's not saying. It doesn't say King James. Doesn't say anything for Jewish. It's just. It's not. It's just a generic thing. It's a nice size thing, by the way. It says Bible. This to me again is one of those things where people are worried about too many things, and it was put back on the table because was it? Well, there's just a lot of back and forth about this. So let me get to the final. And there's a lot of back and forth. What does it say here? most people. One guy said it's illegal. One person said it didn't.
I don't think it's illegal, but I do
But
think it's
they
like,
are-
not
they
the
are
most
in-
respectful.
It's.
But
I don't see.
think it's
well,
illegal to
I
have
am.
it there.
I am the one. Of, I personally am not into organized religion. That's my thing. Doesn't mean I don't have beliefs of my own. Avon's call. It better be pizza. Somebody must have should have sent cake. Who is this? Because no one should be knocking now. One second, gang. Sorry for the dead air. Who is that? People who shouldn't be here tonight. So anyway, years ago, someone thought enough of me, someone I used to work with, to give me a Bible. Believe it or not, I have a Bible in my house. It is the King James Version of the Bible. I am Jewish. Did I get offended because he chose the wrong religion? No, not really. I took it as a I was very appreciative. Someone thought enough of me to give me their Bible. The Bible is just the book, the belief of the book. There are more, I won't say more important. I'll say there are other things more immediate to worry about. Not a table sitting in a corner somewhere honoring. Why not just take down the tomb of the unknown soldier because he doesn't have a name? He has to have a name. And until we know what name to put on the stone.
I visited that this year.
Yeah, it's a great spot.
Yeah, it was beautiful. The guy who goes back and forth.
Yeah,
and,
the mixing and matching of the military.
And inside the museum is everything. I learned a lot. It's really cool.
It is. It's an incredible site. But can you imagine if somebody wanted? There's no name. We don't know who it is.
Well, because it's multiple.
It could be anybody.
Yeah.
It could be anybody, like a Bible that doesn't specify a religion. It could represent anybody. It could be for anybody.
Well, I didn't know that until you just told me that there's Jewish Bible. I mean, are there Muslim Bibles then? Are there other religions?
There's the
are there Buddhist
Quran.
Bibles?
There's this. There's
but
that.
are they? I feel like that word. I didn't know that word transferred to them as well.
It's just the
doesn't?
holy book of the subject. Like I say, in boxing, Ring Magazine is called the Bible of boxing. That's another thing.
Yeah.
Well, but it's just
so then is the
it's a
Quran
slogan.
the Muslim Bible? Are you saying
no,
that?
the Muslim Bible?
Okay.
Yeah, the Quran. Here, they used because whenever this was, they used the Bible. Okay, fine. This was set up before. Maybe one day they will include in a bigger showcase the Bible and a Quran. Maybe, I don't know.
So that would be like them having a Bible at the tomb of the. Is there a Bible there? I don't know.
I don't think
yeah.
so. I don't think so.
I think that would be like that because
I don't think
maybe
so.
one thing to have it in the Veterans Hospital, like in a different place, like in a showcase or something. But on that table, though, that table is like the tomb. You know what I mean? That table is something that they always reserve for one. I don't know.
I
don't think it's illegal though. I don't think you should
It's
take
not
somebody to
illegal.
court for that.
Yeah, it shouldn't be going to
That's
court.
dumb,
Don't
but-
go visit it if you don't like
Yeah,
it.
then just-
it's
yeah.
under lock. No one's making anyone read it, and that's just how it goes. It's perfectly acceptable. It's just including it. For all you know, the first person they decided to honor was entirely read it. Probably had one in his pocket while marching through war. A lot of people had pocket Bibles.
Mm-hmm.
You want to include people who want the Bible as well. You do not have to read it. You do not have to look. I was starting to read the Bible once. I couldn't get past that. After God said, "Let there be light," I'm done. I'm done. That's it. But look at this. Our show went by. Wow. Not everything is a thing. You know what I mean? Not everything is a thing. Let me bang out a couple of quick, stupid stories here because why leave people on a thick note? Let's see. Marks and Spencer launches gay sandwich in rainbow-colored box for pride in its divided opinion.
What?
Yeah.
People can,
Yep.
that sounds cool.
This is England. Yeah.
Can I
It's
say
the
something?
LGBT culture by selling a gay sandwich in a rainbow-colored box to mock pride.
Wait, to mock it.
To market.
Oh, Mark. Okay.
And
okay.
nothing says gay pride like lettuce, guacamole, bacon, and tomato.
Yeah.
And all this really is like, little plastic pouches like you get from like a vending stand. Those little like diagonal pouches with plastic on it. It's a weak-looking sandwich, by the way. They could have put some more stuff in here. They really could have. But there it is. It looks like it's on white bread. Okay, there you go. But if I'm going to sit here, okay, there it is. I cannot help this one. If you're going to have a gay pride sandwich of basically a BLT with guacamole, and you're only going to show it in white bread, let's represent and get some whole wheat bread and some pumpernickel bread.
Do too, though.
Oh, this is the stupidest thing. And this is what else? How much is this thing costing? Oh, it probably costs the same as everything else. It's $9.54. I give up. Everyone on Live Me, thank you for tuning in. Jade, thank you for chiming in. Where are you going to be? You're busy before we get out of here. You are busy as busy can get, like a bee.
Yeah.
I saw your Facebook post.
Check it out. Well, I'm going to be somewhere every day this week. But tomorrow I'm going to be at Silvana in Harlem. That's a free show. Well, it's a $5 donation. I'm on guitar from 8 to 11. And then next Wednesday I'm going to be at the Bitter End for a Whitney Houston tribute at 7 o'clock. I'm going to be on guitar. And I have just a whole bunch of things. So you can go to jadezabrick.com.
She's appearing at her school. She's go to jadezabrick.com and get tickets to follow Jade around the streets to see where she's really going. She's going to be like the new Waldo. Where's Jade?
Yeah.
There you go.
No, I'm so excited, man. I performed last Saturday at Pianos, and I just got an email. They want us back.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, I've never gotten contacted before. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't
Next
have to
time
reach out to them. Like,
maybe they'll hold you over till Sunday.
Yeah.
There you go.
Cool.
All
cool.
right.
All right.
Everybody, the show's about done. It's 9:55. Everyone on Live Me, thanks again. Okay, I will see everybody next week. I do believe I have a guest, and I will leave you a big Facebook post about it, because I believe I'm bringing back director Martina Meal, who loves to film in Brooklyn, and she's nominated for several awards. Okay, everyone, have a good week. Have a good night. And for all the moms out there, happy Mother's Day. Bye.
We all want our kids to grow up safe and healthy, so we show them how, and we tell them with honest conversations that let them know what we expect. That's especially important when it comes to alcohol and other drugs. Kids need to know the dangers and how to avoid them. And when it comes to pain medications, opioids, they need to know that they should never be taken without a prescription and never shared with friends or family. It's dangerous and illegal. So talk with your kids, because when you talk, they hear you.
Hi, Grandma. Can Nina come over for dinner?
Sure. I've been meaning to ask you, what would happen if someone offered you a drink?
Grandma?
If anyone ever does, I want you to say, no, I have too much respect for my family and I don't want to get in trouble.
I promise, Grandma.
They really do hear you. For tips on what to say, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov. That's underagedrinking.samhsa.gov. This message brought to you by SAMHSA and this station.
Hi, this is Kelsey Grammer. When military service members head into battle, none are expected to face the enemy alone, but many return home and become isolated as they struggle with the visible and invisible wounds of war. It can be difficult knowing how to overcome that challenge and rekindle bonds similar to those formed in the military. Wounded Warrior Project supports these injured veterans through their recoveries by connecting them with fellow warriors and their communities. No one should fight this battle alone. Join us at woundedwarriorproject.org.
It's hard to miss a day of work, but it's easy to spread influenza. Stay home if you get sick. It's the flu season. For more information on symptoms and treatment, visit mdhflu.com. Sponsored by the Minnesota Department of Health, aired by the Minnesota Broadcasters Association and this station.
When it comes to providing guide dogs for people who are blind or visually impaired, one national organization is taking the lead. The Guide Dog Foundation breeds and trains Labradors and Golden Retrievers to help blind and visually impaired people increase their mobility and independence. The foundation provides transportation to its New York campus, the guide dog, a comprehensive training program, and a lifetime of aftercare services, all free of charge. The benefits to training with a guide dog at the Guide Dog Foundation in Smithtown, New York are many. Among them are small class sizes for personalized attention, a long history of excellence in dog breeding, and a highly skilled professional training staff. The Foundation offers a comfortable environment and diverse training areas from country walks to city subways. If you or someone you know could benefit from the Foundation's free services, call 800-548-4337.
Yo, what's going on? Y'all listening to Skies Crescent Radio, and